The Quiet Journey, Awakening the Soul Through Spiritual Growth. My dear friends, today I invite you to take a journey with me. Not a journey across oceans or mountains, but a journey inward, a journey into the quiet places of the soul where transformation begins. Spiritual growth is not something that happens overnight. It is not a sudden flash of lightning that changes everything in a single moment. Instead, it is more like the rising of the sun. Slowly, gently, almost quietly, light begins to fill the darkness. And before you realize it, the entire landscape of your life has changed. Every single person in this world is on a spiritual journey, whether they realize it or not. Some are just beginning to ask questions. Others have been walking the path for years. And some feel as though they have wandered far from the road and are trying to find their way back. But here is the beautiful truth: no matter where you are on the journey, you are exactly where you need to be to begin growing. Because spiritual growth does not require perfection. It only requires openness. The seed of spiritual awakening often begins in moments of discomfort. Sometimes it begins when life does not unfold the way we expected. Sometimes it begins in heartbreak, in uncertainty, in the quiet realization that the things we once believed would satisfy us have left us feeling empty. And in that moment, a question rises in the heart. There must be more. More meaning. More purpose. More depth to life than simply waking, working, worrying, and repeating the same patterns day after day. And that question, there must be more, is the beginning of spiritual growth. You see, growth begins when we stop living on the surface of life and begin exploring the deeper waters of the soul. But this journey is not always easy. Because spiritual growth often requires something very difficult: letting go. Letting go of old beliefs that no longer serve us. Letting go of fear that has quietly shaped our decisions. Letting go of anger that has weighed down the heart. Letting go of the need to control everything in our lives. When we begin to release these things, something extraordinary happens. Space opens within us. Space for peace. Space for wisdom. Space for love. The soul, like a garden, cannot grow when it is overcrowded with weeds. But when we gently remove the things that choke the soil, resentment, pride, fear, and bitterness, the seeds of spiritual life begin to flourish. Now, spiritual growth is not about becoming someone entirely different. It is about becoming more fully who you truly are. Within every human being lies a divine spark, a quiet inner light placed there by the Creator. That light is your true self, your deepest nature. But over time, life places many layers over that light. Expectations from society, wounds from the past, doubts about our worth, and habits that distract us from our inner truth. Spiritual growth is the process of gently removing those layers. It is the process of remembering who we really are. And as we grow spiritually, something beautiful begins to unfold. We begin to see the world differently. Where we once saw obstacles, we begin to see opportunities for growth. Where we once saw enemies, we begin to see fellow travelers on their own journeys. Where we once saw chaos, we begin to see a mysterious order guiding the unfolding of life. One of the most powerful steps in spiritual growth is learning the art of stillness. The world today is loud. It is filled with constant noise, endless distractions, and a never-ending flow of information. But wisdom rarely shouts. Wisdom whispers. And if we want to hear those whispers, we must learn to become still. Stillness allows us to listen to the quiet voice of the heart, to the gentle guidance of the spirit, to the wisdom that emerges when the mind becomes calm. It is in stillness that clarity appears. It is in stillness that healing begins. It is in stillness that we reconnect with the deeper rhythm of life. But spiritual growth also calls us to cultivate another powerful quality: compassion. As we grow spiritually, we begin to realize something profound about human beings. Everyone is carrying something. Some carry grief that no one else sees. Some carry fear about the future. Some carry wounds from the past that have not yet healed. When we begin to understand this, our hearts soften. Instead of judging others, we begin to extend kindness. Instead of reacting with anger, we respond with patience. Instead of closing ourselves off, we open our hearts. Compassion becomes a natural expression of spiritual maturity. And when compassion grows within us, our relationships begin to transform. We listen more deeply. We forgive more easily. We love more freely. But there is another dimension of spiritual growth that many people overlook: courage. Because growth requires courage. It takes courage to face our own shadows. It takes courage to admit when we are wrong. It takes courage to change patterns that have defined us for years. But every step of courage opens a new door. Imagine a caterpillar inside its cocoon. From the outside, it might appear that nothing is happening. But inside, a profound transformation is taking place. The old form is dissolving so that a new form can emerge. Spiritual growth often feels like this. Sometimes we pass through seasons where life feels uncertain, where familiar structures fall away, where we feel as though we are in between who we once were and who we are becoming. These moments can feel uncomfortable. But they are also sacred. Because transformation is unfolding. And if we trust the process, if we remain patient with ourselves, we eventually emerge with greater wisdom, deeper compassion, and a stronger connection to our true purpose. Another beautiful aspect of spiritual growth is gratitude. Gratitude has the power to transform the way we experience life. When we focus only on what is missing, life can feel heavy. But when we begin to notice the gifts already present, the warmth of sunlight, the kindness of a friend, the miracle of simply being alive, our hearts begin to open. Gratitude shifts our perspective. It reminds us that life is not merely something to endure, it is something to appreciate. Even the challenges we face often carry hidden lessons that guide our growth. Over time, the spiritually growing person begins to recognize that every experience, joyful or difficult, contains an opportunity for learning. Nothing is wasted. Every moment becomes part of the unfolding journey. Now, perhaps the most profound realization on the spiritual path is this. You are not separate from the divine. The presence of the sacred is not confined to temples or churches or distant heavens. It lives within you. It breathes through you. It flows through every moment of existence. Spiritual growth is the gradual awakening to this truth. It is the realization that the same source of life that created the stars and oceans also lives within your heart. When we begin to recognize this connection, something changes inside us. We no longer feel alone in the universe. We begin to sense a quiet companionship with the divine. Guidance appears in subtle ways. Peace arises even in difficult circumstances. A deeper trust in life begins to form. But spiritual growth is not only about inner transformation. It also expresses itself outwardly. As our awareness expands, we begin to feel called to contribute something meaningful to the world. Some people express their spiritual growth through acts of service. Some through creativity. Some through teaching, healing, or simply being a source of encouragement to others. Each person's path is unique. But the common thread is this, the desire to bring more light into the world. And here is a beautiful paradox of spiritual growth. The more we give, the more we grow. The more love we offer, the more love flows through us. The more kindness we share, the more peaceful our own hearts become. Growth is not only about personal transformation, it is also about becoming a channel through which goodness enters the world. Now, my friends, let me share something important. Spiritual growth is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey. There is always more to learn. More to discover. More ways to expand the heart. Even the wisest teachers continue to grow. Even the most enlightened souls remain humble students of life. And this is part of the beauty of the journey. There is always another horizon. Another layer of understanding waiting to unfold. Another opportunity to deepen our connection with the divine and with one another. So if you ever feel as though you are not progressing fast enough, remember this. Growth does not happen all at once. It happens step by step. Moment by moment. Choice by choice. Each time you choose kindness instead of anger, you grow. Each time you choose forgiveness instead of resentment, you grow. Each time you choose love instead of fear, you grow. These small choices shape the evolution of the soul. And over time, they create a life that radiates wisdom, compassion, and peace. As we come toward the end of our reflection today, I want you to imagine something. Imagine that your life is a path winding through a beautiful forest. At times the path is clear and bright. At other times it becomes narrow and shaded. Sometimes you encounter breathtaking views. Sometimes you encounter storms. But with each step, you are learning something new about yourself. With each step, your awareness expands. With each step, your heart grows stronger, kinder, and more open. And one day, as you look back on the path you have traveled, you will realize something extraordinary. Every experience, the joys, the struggles, the unexpected turns, was shaping you. Every moment was guiding you toward deeper understanding. Every challenge was helping your soul grow. And you will see that the journey itself was the gift. So today, wherever you are on your spiritual path, take a moment to honor your journey. Honor the lessons you have learned. Honor the growth that has already taken place within you. Honor the courage it takes to keep moving forward. And remember this. The light you are seeking is already within you. The wisdom you are searching for is quietly unfolding in your heart. The journey you are walking is sacred. Keep growing. Keep learning. Keep opening your heart. Because the more you grow spiritually, the more your life becomes a reflection of something truly beautiful. A life guided by love. A life filled with peace. A life connected to the divine. And when that happens, your very presence becomes a blessing to the world.